Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. It's Mark Wiens. I'm in Sichuan, China, about 2 hours outside of Chengdu, and we're in the mountains, in the lush green mountains. The mountains are just blanketed with bamboo and so green and so lush. The river is flowing. It's a very wet day. It is raining, but we drove out here because we're here to visit a family, a local family who runs a restaurant, but more like a family farmhouse restaurant where they grow things on the land, but they also forage for ingredients, bamboo, there's chickens, there's ducks, and we're gonna have, I think, 2 meals. The first meal is just already ingredients that they have, and then the second will be a meal of stuff that we gather if the weather clears up, or if we can just walk around here to gather some bamboo, maybe a duck or a chicken, and then they're gonna cook again. So it's gonna be 2 back-to-back meals in the lush forest countryside of Sichuan, and I'm gonna share all the Sichuan Chinese food with you in this video. They're lighting up the fires now to get started cooking. It's so beautiful here. It's so lush and so green. We've been welcomed into their countryside home, and I think they just poured some tea. Oh man, I hope the rain slows down, but it is beautiful here. It's so incredibly lush and so green and so wet. Oh, that's wonderful. Really hot. I believe it's local green tea, like from this mountain here.
Less of our energy.
She is the coolest, yeah. She is amazing. Yeah. But so what we're doing today, what's the term for it? Where people come from the city
In Chinese,
to the countryside.
These places are called nongjiale, so it's sort of like a farmer's inn, if you will. It's basically like a farmhouse that they've converted to allow city people to come who basically want to escape the heat and get in touch with their food sources. So they come for fresh air, cooler weather, and then fresh food that's all sourced from the region.
Cool. And so that's what we are doing today. But it's straight family run. It's a straight family home, but they've just more opened up their home to serve a home-cooked meal to people that want to come to the countryside, yeah, to breathe fresh air, to experience nature, to be with the nature, and to get fresh food, and that's exactly what we are here for today. Yes, and so right now, Grandma's still fanning the fire, we're maintaining the fire, and he's gonna start cooking. They're explaining to us that a lot of the ingredients that they use, a lot of ingredients that we're gonna cook with are wild ingredients. They do grow some ingredients like probably the eggplant, the peas, but the bamboo shoots, the mushrooms, a lot of stuff they forage for, they grow naturally. They're wild ingredients, wild Sichuan Chinese ingredients. And what's cool here is that there's no menu, so everything is seasonal. You just come here or you call ahead, and they just make for you the main dishes, and they serve that to everybody that comes. So one of the dishes that he's making now is, I believe, chicken with the wild bamboo shoots. You can smell the Sichuan peppercorns in there, and you can see the chilies floating around. That's kind of braising, bubbling away, boiling away. Those ingredients are mingling. Oh, that smells so good, the citrusy aroma of the Sichuan pepper. Very interesting how he makes the vegetable dish. He fried off the beans and and then he puts the rice over. He fried off the beans and looked like winter melon in a little bit of oil and ginger. Stir fried that, boiled it a little bit, and then he pours that entire wokful into a boiling water pot here, and then put the steaming rice on top. So maybe like the liquid from the rice is gonna pour down into the vegetables. It's like 2 layers, double-decker of vegetables, then rice on top, steaming and boiling. Okay, so those are just a few of the varieties of meats that he's gonna cook for lunch. There's some smoked meat. Smoked meat in Sichuan is very common, but it's smoked in the winter time when it's colder, when it's drier, and then preserved throughout the whole year. Then looks like some possibly preserved fat and then some fresh meat. And now he's peeling some, I believe it's a type of lupin, like a gourd zucchini-ish type of vegetable. But again, this is the first meal, and he's just cooking the dishes that they prepare. This is for lunch, and then after lunch we're gonna do a bit of foraging. We're gonna hopefully choose a duck, and they're gonna grill it their unique Sichuan way in the marinade over fire. And so that will be meal number 2. We're here really to eat 2 full meals. He just handed us mantou right out of the steamer.
Got a nice yeasty flavor to it, actually. I like that.
Gummy. Oh, it's so good though, but it's so hot. That's gonna go great with the food that we're gonna eat. Kind of sour too. Again, he's making another dish like an omelet, but that's an herb that's very finely sliced from this region. The name is goosefoot translated, but with egg. I'm interested to see how he's gonna make that into an omelet or how he's gonna fry it. He fried that like pancake style in the wok with a lot of oil, flipping it, rotating it, shaking the wok to get that even distribution of heat, and just like sizzling with oil. That smells and looks so good. It's crunchy, it's golden, it's cooked with that herb evenly distributed in it. So another family has arrived, I believe from Chengdu, and what's cool is the kitchen really is the hangout. So immediately as they arrive, they come here. It might even be family of the family here, but it's immediately as they arrive, people just congregated in the kitchen because this is where the conversation happens, this is where the cooking happens, this is where the fire is, and probably even more so in the winter when it's really cold, people would just hang out in the kitchen. But this is, people talk, people hang out, people converse and smell the aroma of the food before actually being able to eat the food. But I think we are getting close. Like there's at least a few dishes that are finished, and he's putting the finishing touches on the rest of them. In a bunch of oil, he fried off some thin slices of pork. He added in a number of vegetables. He added in the wild mushrooms that they collected here, some of the vegetables, and that's just like a mix of so many things in a flame of a wok fire with so many sauces that he's adding, sesame seeds. That looks so good. That looks like a proper country forest dish with so many natural ingredients in it. Probably like 6 or 8 different dishes, all like these mountain dishes. Look at that, the mantou, a double mantou. Okay, take a bite. This is the way you combat the heat of a mantou. But so many cool dishes, so many cool ingredients. Something that you notice big time in this countryside Sichuan meal is there's not so much of the heavy red oil that you see at like Sichuan restaurants. This is much more countryside, much more vegetables, much more green, a lot more maybe variety of different ingredients, and like, but still like the powerful, wonderful Sichuan flavors and ingredients, and this looks amazing. So it's just 3 of us eating here. This is a feast of a meal. I gotta, yeah, of course I'll taste everything, but I think I gotta begin with the pimpinella. Pimpinella omelet. So kind of oily and so salty, and that herb is kind of like, it's kind of neutral tasting when it's inside the omelet, but very smoky tasting. That's just perfect with rice. So good, yeah. Okay, next up for this bamboo, which you can see the chilies in it, the Sichuan pepper, the chicken. Oh wow. They're so crisp and juicy and full of flavor with that chicken. With the Sichuan pepper, it comes in nicely there too. In a like very complimenting kind of way with the citrusiness. That is so good. Okay, next dish is the dish that I've been eyeing for the entire time. The mushrooms with the pork, with the green onions, with the peppers, with all sorts of vegetables from right here. Oh yeah. Oh, that one is an amazing dish. It's so like meaty and hearty and rich. And the mushrooms have a meatiness to them too. A real meatiness. The chili's in there. The meat just for flavoring. Okay, it's time to try the smoked meat, and this is a rib of smoked meat. Wow. Even before taking a bite, like you can just, the little bone chunk, you can smell the smokiness, like it's so smoky. It's so, it's so fatty, but the fat has just like gone into the meat. It's just, oh, that is so tasty. Wow, and it's tender. Yeah, and what stands out to me is just the freshness of the ingredients. Everything is local, everything is from here. And it's not like nearly as oily or heavy as some of the city food that you get. Like it's much more refreshing. I mean, these are the exact same dishes that you would eat at home if you lived here.
Exactly what they're eating.
And they're eating that. Yep. Exactly. Okay, this one is stir-fried duck intestines with chilies. That one is really simple. I think just with chili, some Sichuan pepper, and just kind of like seared up in the wok like really fast. But the simplicity too of some of these dishes is what makes it so good. Like it's meaty. That sauce is so meaty actually, but oniony, like, and the mushrooms. Totally different.
So much more to Sichuan food than the red.
Yeah.
Which is what all the time.
Okay, and then the final dish that I'm gonna try is this kind of soup, but it's kind of a stew. There's potato in here, there's the cucumber, and there's the beans, the green beans. And I think some of that is some of the rice boiled, because they boiled the rice on top and the dripping went down into the soup. They use like the boiled rice starch in here. And I had to finish my bowl of rice before adding this soup here. But this looks really hearty, really thick, really like warming. Like drink and you know, that's just so warming and so like refreshing, yeah. And the cucumber has just sort of like melted into the whole like soup. It just dissolved in your mouth. And it's hot. Lunch was incredibly delicious, but the rain just is not letting up. It's maybe even more cloudy. Actually, it's not raining that hard. It's sprinkling, but it's just not letting up at all. And it's cloudy.
Terracing bit right here.
Yeah.
So he actually
We decided to take a little walk up the staircase to see some of the ingredients and also kind of like just hike around, but it is really wet. It's slippery, it's mossy, it's so damp.
going up not so hard. To the top of there, it flattens out a little bit.
Okay.
There's that.
So then up here you just start kind of climbing on the rocks in the mud, and it's slippery. No, it's not.
Glory. Good morning, Glory. Chilies, the Argentine chili.
Okay, made it up that flight of stairs, and it's beautiful up here, kind of in the clouds, the mist. There's trees all around. This is where some of their terracing, some of their ingredients that they grow begin. There's chilies, there's eggplant, maybe some type of like the squash, the lupins. Man, and the air is so fresh and so, like, you can imagine this is the native habitat of pandas and kind of that cloud damp forest. So lush, so rich, so biodiverse. Yeah, you gotta be careful where you step and also like get your footing here because it is slippery on these rocks and mud and moss. Okay, one of the interesting things and something you often don't even think about is that kiwi fruit is native to Sichuan. It's native here. And so we were just walking through and we found there's a vine hanging from this evergreen tree with like blooming with wild kiwis. And that's a tiny little one.
Tiny little guy.
It is edible. But look, right over there, let's see if we, oh, because it's kind of a drop off. Oh, it's still pretty like rock hard though. That is a fresh kiwi, wild kiwi in its native habitat. Hairy, smells earthy. But yeah, that's very hard, like rock hard. Not quite ripe yet.
Crunchy like an apple. Oh yeah, it's so sour.
Woo. Yeah, it is sour and crunchy. Wow, but that's really good. That's like it's like a lemon almost. But kiwi, native to Sichuan, that's so cool. It's good. It's like lemon.
Yeah, I get like really
You could use that as like a
intense
dressing.
sourness.
Yeah. Really good though.
Oh, it is really good. It's like it got a kiwi essence, but it's almost a completely different flavor too.
What's amazing is that everybody who comes here eats the lunch first. And then after that, everybody seems to have grilled meat later in the afternoon. So we got a duck from him, but he also is making a rabbit, and another family that came, they brought a chicken and some other things to grill as well, which is, I guess the grilled meat is like the afternoon snack. But to prepare the marinade, what he did, he added in a bunch of ingredients, chopped up chilies very fine, onions, ginger, then he added in some of the fermented bean paste, then he added in some chili oil, Sichuan chili oil. He added in, I believe, some vinegar, some soy sauce, mixed that all around, a variety of other seasonings as well, mixed that all around into like this thick paste rub for the meat marinade. And then he marinated our duck first, so he just kind of like really rubbed it down in that sauce, got it coated in everything from the ribs to the beak, and now he's working on the rabbit and gonna marinate the other meats as well. Let's see, that's a giant rooster. For sure, like that has to be like a 4-kilo rooster. But yeah, the way he diced it up, he butterfly cut it, he put slits into it so that all that marinade soaks in, and he's again just like our duck, he's just rubbing that. That's actually for the other family that arrived, but man, that marinade, it smells so good. You smell the fermented beans, you smell the chili. They're marinating, they're ready to go. So we're outside now. They've got some serious games of mahjong going on there. And then over here, they are figuring out the umbrella situation. And I think they're gonna start the barbecue pretty soon, start the fire. They're cleaning off the grill as well. But yeah, it is still raining. I don't think it's gonna let up today at all. We're making progress. The umbrella is up now. The firewood, he just brought a load of firewood in a big bamboo basket. So we are getting closer to the fire being made, which is one step closer to the duck and the rooster being and the rabbit being roasted. Okay, so very surprising to me and different from other barbecue styles or variations is that they haven't even started the fire yet. He took the duck, he's taken the rabbit, and he's gonna put the rooster onto the griddle, which rotates but also has different layers before they even start the fire at all. So I think he's gonna like let that fire really blaze because they've got dry wood. They're gonna let that fire burn, but they're tying the meat to the griddle and really wiring it on there. Maybe they're gonna rotate it. But yeah, that's before even the fire is burning. That's a cool technique. All three in a row. There's a rabbit, there's a duck, there's a massive rooster. It smells so good already, and they're not even like, nothing has been cooked yet. But you smell the fermented beans, you smell the chilies, you smell the Sichuan pepper and the cumin in that marinade. burning. It looks like evergreen, dry evergreen leaves or needles, but that just goes up in a cloud of smoke. I'm like ducking down because all the smoke goes up to the umbrella, but that's just a cloud of smoke. Already the meat is smoking in that smoke, and then he just starts piling on bamboo and other wood, dry wood on there. That's gonna be a blazing fire that's just gonna roast that meat. More of a roast than a grill, I think. But those pine needles smell really good, kind of like incense almost. This has to be one of the coolest rotisseries I've ever seen. I love how the meat is just strung up on this grill, just wired up onto this grill with the raging fire underneath. It's crackling. He's still kindling that fire, and he's slowly rotating it. I don't think they're gonna rotate it the whole thing. I think they'll like change the levels, but it is cool to see this. That is a next level Chinese Sichuan barbecue rotisserie, duck rotisserie. I just love how in China, we're like in the middle of the wilderness on the mountain in Sichuan, in the rainforest. And normally it's just me talking to myself on the camera. But like in China, it's like everybody's on their phone, everybody's live streaming, everybody's taking photos. Nobody minds. Love the culture. And food is the coolest thing ever. Man, that is an absolute bonfire, and it is raging. It's so hot, but now he's basting it with some oil. I think rapeseed oil to keep the juices flowing, to kind of give it that golden finish touch, I think. It's an amazing way to cook over such a hot fire, but he just, as he keeps on rotating it, he ensures that it doesn't burn, but it gets that smoke and that high level of heat, so you get that roasty char on it. He's kind of cutting slits in it. He is the man. And we're just like, I can't even stop filming or watching. I'm just completely mesmerized by this grill experience. Another genius technique. And again, like fire is one of the original ways to cook anywhere in the world, and it's still one of the most fascinating, one of the most flavorful, one of the best ways to cook anything, in my opinion. Right off the duck. This is like chef's table. It doesn't get better than this for chef's table. The charred duck foot. Oh, it's so crunchy. It's hot and good. And all that like marinade is just like caramelized on it. It tastes like bacony almost.
Amazing. So like, just the fat all like rendered onto it.
Under Grandma's supervision now, we're just sitting around here like slicing off chunks of the, it's such a fatty, juicy, I don't know how it's so juicy after roasting at least an hour. Oh wow.
How that's, is it? How caramelized it is.
Okay, that's our duck off the grill. Running back to the kitchen because they'll probably chop it up within seconds. Oh, nice. And he is cooking up some dishes for dinner too. This is round number 2, this is meal number 2, and along with the centerpiece, which is that duck, and as he was chopping up, oh man, just the aromatics were coming out of it, but he also made a few vegetable dishes. There's some green beans, there's some pumpkin, There's some more of the wild bamboo shoots which we fried up, and then another essential Sichuan dish, which is the twice cooked pork. But we have to begin with the duck. Look at just fatty, juicy, flavorful duck. Look at that. This chunk of duck. Oh. It's so good. Look, you taste the umami of that fermented paste, bean paste. You get like a slight zinginess from the Sichuan pepper, which was ground in the marinade. And it's just like salty, so flavorful. Okay, this one is the twice cooked pork. Wow, yeah. It's like caramelized, thinly sliced, fatty pork with chilies and chili oil. Oh, it's delicious. Like that is a harmony of caramelized meat.
Banding it too in that fermented soybeans.
You taste the ginger. Oh wow, like you taste the ginger in those and the pickled chilies. But those bamboo shoots to begin with are some of the best ever. The freshness of them and like the clean crunch to them without being stringy at all. They're perfect.
这是刨绳子的。也是，这是啥子绳子？
Okay, next up for the green beans. It looks like there's a lot of garlic in them as well. Amazing, yeah. So much garlic. It almost tingles your tongue.
ไม่ได้เดี๋ยวดิทำ
Like
งานอยู่ลูก
everything is
ต้อง
so
รอ
fresh, everything is so vibrant. What stands out is everything tastes the way it should taste, and he's an amazing cook. Okay, I'm gonna reach in for some of that pumpkin soup, like a pumpkin boil kind of. It looks like almost like just straight disintegrated pumpkin. Yeah, that's just like falling apart tender. It's so pure. Only pumpkin, I think.
Baby food. It is pretty good pumpkin though, actually.
谢谢。
Those are home infused plum baijiu. So you say
Cheers.
Ganbei.
Ganbei?
Ganbei actually means like dry your glass down one. We don't have to.
We'll sip it.
We don't
Okay.
have to do that.
With some
Say sweet.
Baijiu.
Home
Zhang
infused plum baijiu.
has offered us some, home infused baijiu. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. What a day.
อิ่มก็บอกแม่ว่างั้นก็ไม่อิ่ม
Oh yeah, that's good.
A little
It's
sweet, a
strong,
little sour.
but sweet and fruity, yeah. Okay, so at their table, they were the ones that had the rabbit on the spit, and we gave them some of our duck, and they switched us for some of the rabbit, little meat swap, and so we're gonna taste the rabbit. Oh wow. Again, and this rabbit was on the fire for so long, and like it is kind of like dehydrated, but not in a bad kind of way. Like it's still moist enough. He was telling us like they love it crispy. Like that's the style they like it. It does work. Somehow it just works. Basted in oil with that like thick marinade. We have come to the end of that meal, and for sure the most exciting part of this entire meal experience was the Sichuan Chinese barbecue with the marinade and that technique of roasting it over the open fire spread out. The duck was amazing, and just the whole like community aspect, learning about Sichuan culture and just how cool people are here. I mean, they're so chill, they're so relaxed, playing games, hanging out. And again, I've said this multiple times, but just the socializing culture, it stands out in Sichuan. And I want to say a big thank you to this entire family for hosting us. How are you? How are you? What's your name?
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So I also want to say a huge thank you to Jordan from Chengdu Food Tours for arranging this, for setting it up for me, for joining us. He's so knowledgeable about Sichuan food, and I'll have his link in the description box. They offer tours in Chengdu. And yeah, I want to say a big thank you to you for watching this video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're not already subscribed, click subscribe and also click the little bell icon. That way you'll get immediately notified of the next video that I publish. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye from Sichuan, China. See you on the next video.